In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to install a barreled action into our Remington 700 UD chassis. So this specific Remington 700 is actually a Remington 700 clone. This is a Bergara B14 left-handed, but the process will be the exact same for any Remington 700 straight from Remington or any clone. And so you want to start by removing your bolt and your barreled action. So we'll go ahead and get that popped out. So once you know your action's safe, you're going to want to remove your barreled action from the factory stock. If you have a different clone that just comes as an action or a barreled action, you can negate this step and tune in whenever we go into installing the action into the actual chassis. So your action screws on Remington 700 will be right in front of the magazine and right behind the trigger. And so you're going to want to get both of those uninstalled. Take it completely out, and then your stock will be able to pop right off of your barreled action. And the same will go with any Remington. If it has any bottom metal, make sure you get that removed to where you're just left with the barreled action as shown here. So as soon as you get that, you're able to take your UD chassis. It'll come just like this out of the box, and then it's ready for you to drop it right onto your barreled action. And so all Remingtons have a recoil lug in the front, and that recoil lug will match up with the recoil lug slot in the front of the chassis, and then drop your trigger through the trigger pocket and let it sit on there. Your chassis will come with a bag of hardware. Go ahead and dump that out. Comes with your two action screws. The shorter is used for the front and the longer is used for the rear. And then it comes with a set screw for the buttstock timing hole in the back of the chassis, and a little L key for that. And then the final L key is for the mag well adjustment that I'll demonstrate here in a second. And so the action screws are 3/16 drive. So I'm going to go ahead and switch that out. And then we can go ahead and installing the action screws into the UD chassis. So I always just like to start on the front, just get it started, and then put the rear in, and it drops in this hole right behind the trigger. It should thread right in. And I like to get them snug and then stand the barreled action in the chassis up. And then you're going to want to torque your action screws to 55 to 60 inch-pounds. So I have mine set right at 55. So we'll go ahead and make sure that the barreled action is pushed all the way down to where the recoil lug is bedded up against the recoil lug pocket in the chassis. So get that torqued. Go down here. Get this one torqued. There. There. So I know those are torqued to spec. So that's as simple as it is to install a barreled action into the chassis. I will go ahead and demonstrate taking your L key for your mag adjustment. Whenever you go to put your magazine in, one cool feature about the UD chassis is that it has an adjustable tab for the mag lever. And so once you have your barreled action in and you're able to test feeding rounds, you can drop in your magazine, and then once it's safe to do so out on the range, you can test feeding your rounds and mess with the mag well height to get the magazine installed to the proper height. You basically want it to where the feed lips on the magazine are just barely clearing the bottom of the bolt face so that the bolt face will pick up the round in the top of the magazine and feed properly. If it is too low, you just take this L key and you loosen this adjustment screw, and you can move this sliding tab up and down until your magazine's at the proper height. And then the buttstock in the back is just threaded for your buffer tube buttstock installation. So you just thread that in, whatever buffer tube you want to use for your buttstock, and you will have your complete chassis installed. So that's it for installation of the Ultradyne UD chassis onto a Remington 700 or Remington 700 clone platform, and you'll be good to install your optic and start shooting.